Hey, welcome to our show. I'm Dr. Latifat. I'm the host of the Money Fit MD show. This is where we talk about all things money and mindset because I truly believe that when we pair these two things together, it is pretty much impossible for us to not create wealth. So I hope you enjoy the show. Make sure you learn, make sure you take actions, and make sure you share the link to the show with all the humans in your life so that we can all start to build wealth together from the inside out. Enjoy this episode. Hello, guys, and welcome to another episode on the podcast. I am so excited to be recording this. Okay. All right. So I may be a little bit more excited than typical or usual. And the reason why is I'm just glad that I'm able to record this episode. I've tried recording this episode before, and it was very unsuccessful because I was trying to record it while we were literally in the desert in Morocco. It was so hot that my phone was like turning off. You know how like Apple things or maybe cell phones in general tell you this is too hot. Don't try to break us. We're gonna turn it off. And the same thing was happening with my laptop. So after messing around for like a good 30 minutes or so, I kind of gave up. Anyways, I'm recording this episode today, and I'm really, really glad that I get to do that because I do think that the topic that I'm going to talk about today is going to be super duper important, a little controversial, but I do think that it's something that will help you. And it is this whole idea of like envy/jealousy and how you can harness it to actually help you in your journey. So first of all, is I did not actually even know there was a difference between envy and jealousy per se until my friend, one of my good friends, we call, she's one of the CEO babes. Shout out to her. Oju Olakwe was when she was like, actually, you know what? Talking about envy versus jealousy, we kind of had a conversation about it. And I'm like, oh, I actually came out more educated about the difference between those two. So for the sake of this conversation today, I'm going to be talking primarily about envy, but you may not know the difference, which I did not really know the difference either per se, because a lot of times we talk about jealousy, but we don't use, I will speak for myself, I don't use envy per se in terms of terminology. We use more jealous, but they actually are different when you talk about the true meaning of it. In general, envy is defined as a desire for something that someone has, while jealousy is a feeling that's tied to fear of losing something that you have. So envy is I want what they got, and jealousy is I don't want to lose what I have. And so there's a level of like scarcity slash fear of losing maybe a position that you hold and all that stuff. And so you may want nobody else to get to that point or to that place versus envy, which is that feeling that you have when you see someone doing something, having something. And even though you do not wish them any malicious thoughts or whatever, you just like have that bring of like, oh, I wish I could have that. And I think that so many times there's so much negative connotations to it, and what ends up happening is people have a lot of shame and guilt about having those feelings, and they sort of like run away, disappear, and hope that avoiding the quote unquote stimuli is going to be the best case scenario. However, what I found is that it actually can be something that can be really, really helpful and can be an asset for you in your journey as you build your wealth. So, for example, maybe you're seeing someone that has a net worth, financial net worth, or someone that's like, have a business that's successful, or they are traveling to something that you wish you had, or they had an audience, or speaking up, or like whatever, like it doesn't even matter what it is. But if you're seeing that happen, and every time you see them talk about it, instead of celebrating with them with all like truth and honesty, you feel that like praying of like, oh my goodness, I better go hide. I better like, I want to have what they want. By the way, if you're hearing any pounding in the background, I have no idea if you can hear it. If you hear it, I love you. It is what it is. We're right. So we're okay. So we're staying currently in one of the riads, and which are like almost like the Airbnb, not Airbnb. They're kind of like bed and breakfast, like small hotels in Morocco. They are amazing, and it's a great way to experience culture and really experience some of the hospitality that Moroccans are being known for. So that's the downside to it is they're not huge. So if someone is making something delicious in the kitchen and like, pounding herbs or whatever it is that they're doing next door, you may hear it. So I have no idea if you can hear it or not, but if you can hear it, sorry. If you cannot hear it, you're missing out. So anyways, focus. Focus on Latifa. Focus on what we're talking about, and you'll be fine. Focus, focus, focus. Okay, so back to what we're talking about though. So what I want to share with you is how you can use that envious feeling when it comes up, instead of running and hiding from there and making yourself feel guilty and shamed about the feeling that you have that actually is part of being human. How can you use this to actually create what you want to create? So a lot of times, if you think about it, when you're having those feelings, or feeling that emotion, it's not because you have ill intent towards the other person, right? It's because they have something that you may want. And so what I usually like to have people do is be curious about what is it about what this person just announced or showed or has or displays that I want, that's making me have those feelings that I'm feeling. And once you can now ask yourself, okay, so maybe there's a part of me that wishes that I had, I don't know, I'll just use speaking as what can I use? I don't know. Let's use speaking as an example. Maybe someone just announced that they have like their 10th speaking opportunity. And you're like, oh, that feeling comes and like, oh my goodness, I'm horrible and bad. Let me run away. Congratulations, and run away. Instead of doing that, getting curious as to what about what they just talked about or announced or have, do you wish that you had? Right? It may not be conscious, maybe subconscious. So what is it? And if it's okay, maybe I also want to be able to speak. Now you've been curious to identify what that one thing is that you wish that you had. Okay. And now what you want to do is, there are two things. Well, first thing that I want you to do is using them as an inspiration. How did they create what they created? And I'm not talking about like using their words or using their exact examples or copying them. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about like some of the habits, some of the beliefs, some of the things that they may have done that actually led them to that. So if we're going with the speaking stuff that I was just talking about, now asking yourself, how many times, like in order for them to get the speaking, they had to have an element of visibility. They had to maybe post, maybe they're posting on social media. Maybe they're asking, saying things like, if you have any opportunities, let me know. If you have any opportunities, let me know, right? Maybe they're helping people and giving value. Maybe they have like a podcast through which they're sharing and just giving of their own time and their own excellence and their own expertise, right? So essentially, you mean if I shared and gave of what I have, of the skill set, the amazing stuff that I have in my head, number one, if I maybe posted consistently and what I'm posting is actually helping people, if I am being myself, authentic, right? If I am saying exactly what I'm looking for. So for example, I'm like, if you have an opportunity, let me know. So that means that if you can retrace that for yourself, if you can create the version that is authentic to you, not authentic to that person, but authentic to you, if you can do that, then there's a very good chance that you will be able to create your own version of what success looks like in terms of that, right? Because what happens is like, it's literally like having a masterclass in front of you and ignoring it when you run away from the envious feelings that you're having. And you literally are decreasing your ability to actually accomplish what you want to accomplish, because here you are not actually leaning in and learning from what they're doing, right? And the thing is this, in your process of trying to learn this for yourself, again, I want to make sure I'm clear. I'm not saying that you should copy what anybody's doing, but I'm saying use that as an inspiration to figure out like, what habits did you have to create? Like, because ultimately our habits is what's going to lead to the things that we're getting or not getting, right? So just keep that in mind. And I have another example for you. Like, if you're my friend, you know how much I like the brain of Alex Hormozi. I think it's genius. He's incredibly smart, and I love smart brains. And he just is this guy that has a podcast. He has a book. He's young, but just like dynamic in his thinking. And I love his authenticity. And he just released his second book. And the whole way that he launched that book or released that book was like genius, right? Completely genius. And I just love the fact that he gathered like 500,000 people in one room and gave to them just like that, like gave them in a way that was like crazily amazing. His business is acquiring businesses, right? And he's not giving them, he's not telling them, I'm going to acquire your business for free and you don't have to pay me. No, it's teaching people how to create successful businesses. And his goal is that a small percentage of those people will end up hiring him at some point when they're very successful. So that's a win-win situation. I'm a huge believer of win-win situations. Like, I'm recording the podcast because I want every single human that's listening to this to be able to build wealth from the inside out, right? And out of the people that are listening to this, some of them are going to say, Latifa, I want your help. I want to work closer to you. I love your brain. I love your coaching. I love how dynamic you are. Let us come in and be one of the amazing women physicians in the Money School Village. That's going to happen, right? So what I loved though was that it was talking to all of these people, this huge audience, and it just gave at a level that's just like amazing. I'm a huge fan of giving, right? And there was a moment and they were like, oh, I wish I could give this, like I could just give like this, right? And so I asked myself and got curious instead of judging myself, and just got curious for like, how was he able to create this scenario where it was able to give to this number of people out of, I mean, I just imagine him going to bed that night, like on a high. Just like, I give ridiculously much, right? It's like Oprah level giving. That kind of stuff. That's my goal. But anyway, it's like, how did he create this? And I remapped his steps of how he was able to do this. Like the habits, he has a huge social media presence. He posts like 300 contents on social media every week. 300, right? 300. Imagine that every week. If you multiply that by like 50 something, that's a ton of content. So, and he's posting on YouTube, he's doing podcasts, he's doing like Instagram. I don't know if he does Facebook, but the point is that he's dynamic in how he shows up. He's dynamic in how he gives. And when I was able to map that, and he will tell you, he's like, listen, I have no kids. Like, this is my only focus. This is my concern. This is what I'm pointing to make the book a success. He was working on this book 6 hours a day for like 2 years. That is crazy amount of like work and excellence, right? And at the point of like mapping that out, now he's like, I have the path to how he was able to create what he's able to create. But also, it was helpful for me because I'm like, nah, bro, I'm not going to post 300 content on social media a week, right? So the thing is this, the benefit of doing this exercise and being curious about your own envy is, number one, is you tap into genius potentially, because now you have a master class and a great example in front of you that you get to learn from, be inspired by. So that makes something that could potentially be negative into something positive. That's number one. But also number two is, in the process of mapping out what they're doing, you may decide that I actually do not want this. And without even trying, the envy is just going to like go away, because you're like, thumbs up, good for you. I love you. It's amazing. Keep doing what you're doing. But I'm not going to do this. Like, this is my own non-negotiable, or this is something that is just an absolutely no in my book. And I get to decide what I want to create and decide which one of what you're doing I want to be inspired and use to create what I want to create, which again is going to be different from what you're doing, because we're different people. There's nobody like you. You're unique. I'm unique. If I'm truly learning from you, it's because I'm learning that you're being authentic. So when I'm being authentic to myself, it's going to produce a different result than your own authenticity. Does that make sense? So this is really, really important as you grow your wealth, because what I find is that a lot of times as women physicians, sometimes we're afraid to be in rooms where people are accomplishing things that we hope we can acquire at some point, things that we hope that we can accomplish at some point. And part of the reason is because we may feel tangs of, shame, which I talked about a couple of episodes ago. We may have some envy, which is another thing that I'm talking about right now. And if we can learn to harness that, you will grow beyond your wildest dream. Like, I know, because these were things that I have also had to deal with throughout my journey. And when I look at where I am right now and the rooms that I choose to be in, I'm very comfortable with being in. I like being in rooms where my brain tells me that I'm unqualified for, look in a room where no one looks like me that's in that room. What that just means is I get to be a bridge, right? Bring more women, bring more diverse women, women of color, Black women, brown women, bring them into the rooms that I'm in so that we can increase access, right, for everybody. That's what this is about for me. So I hope this has been helpful for you. If you have any questions, let me know. Well, how can you let me know? You can send me an email at drlatifact with a T at moneyfitmd.com. By the way, if you listen to this in August, depending on when you're listening to this, I have a masterclass that is happening on the 29th. If you have not registered yet, I will tell you that you're going to miss out. And I don't say that lightly. It is free, but do not be confused and think that means that it's going to be some cheap plastic. It is not. I do not do cheap plastic. I hate cheap plastic, right? It is going to be excellent. And what I want to talk about there is how you can create your own 7-figure life. the reason why I'm doing this, the reason why I'm sharing this with you guys, and not just with people that are in my paid program, is because I really want you to have the information that you need in order to be able to create what you want to create. And when we're talking about women physicians in medicine, we're talking about women physicians in healthcare, we're wanting to make sure that you guys are well equipped and living the life that you want with the emotional satisfaction that comes from knowing that your success is inevitable. That is what I want to share with you guys on this masterclass. So the way you access it, you go to moneyfitmd.com/TMD, which is the Millionaire Doctor. Yes, that's what you're going to be as long as you commit and you're interested and willing. Go over there. I want physicians to be able to create the 7 figures and multiple 7 figures they want. I want that path to be so clear and inevitable that you would be willing to step away, take a sabbatical, work part-time, take care of your family, take care of your health, do whatever you need to do, follow inspiration, pursue your dreams, because you know that your success is inevitable. That's what I'm here for. I'm here for your freedom. I'm here for your liberation. I'm here for your wealth. That's what I'm here for. So if you have enjoyed this, share this with someone else. Share it on social media. Tag me, MoneyFitMD, so I can give you a shout out as well. Yes, you can leave us a review on whatever platform you're listening to this, but also remember that if you want to learn how to make your own 7-figure life inevitable, then go to moneyfitmd.com/TMD. And don't forget to share that link with your girlfriends, because what's better than you having money is you and your girlfriends having money. That is what I'm here for. I love you guys. I'll see you in the next episode. Goodbye.